Have you heard of the Ho'oponopono prayer?
I have, and I had an interesting thing happen. Now, I was using it for years, really successfully using it to help like get rid of things. And then one night I was laying in bed, probably about 4 years ago. Sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll just start reciting something like that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please. And it's to no one in particular. It's just saying it and seeing who comes to mind and then saying it and seeing who comes to mind. So I'm laying there doing that. And then all of a sudden it starts to feel this pain in my chest and it gets bigger and bigger. And pretty soon it feels like I got a boulder on my chest. And I just said, Abraham, what is this this feeling? What is this energy? And he says, oh, he says, that's your unwillingness to forgive them. So I'm saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. But he goes, that's your unwillingness to forgive them. And I went, what? Well, what do I do about that? And he said, just say now, I'm sorry. I have not forgiven you. Please forgive me for that. I'm sorry. I have not forgiven you. Please forgive me for that. And as I recited that pain in my chest, that energy got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it finally went away. But it was an interesting that my unwillingness to forgive was still there when like I said, I always feel like I forgive people for everything, and I just, that's my thing is to go and say, hey, let's put this behind us. I'm sorry this happened. But yeah, oh no, it's still there.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's amazing. It just reminds me of this beautiful little book that I was recently guided to. It's called The Little Soul and the Sun by Neil Donald Walsh. Are you familiar with that book?
Yes, I am.
In fact, I have it right here. My wife just brought it into the room. I think she was telling somebody about it, maybe on her own podcast, one of her hypnotherapy clients or somebody. Anyway, so there's a part in that children's book where it talks about how this little soul wants an opportunity to be forgiving, to feel what that's like to be forgiving. And that means having somebody to forgive. And because we were all created perfect, these beautiful, amazing lights of God's brilliance and unconditional love, nobody to forgive. So that means somebody has to be willing to lower their vibration, do something terrible to us to give us the opportunity to forgive. I'm thinking these people who do these terrible things to me are doing this for me, not to me, as an opportunity for me to be able to grow and experience that aspect of being special. It's a beautiful book. I love that book. I read it to my 3-year-old and actually read it to my 31-year-old. My oldest is 31. My youngest is 3. It's really so profound.
It's a darling book. I got the opportunity to meet Neil Donald Walsh and perform for him. I don't know if we're talking over each other because there's a lag here. Yeah, I got an opportunity to meet Neil Donald Walsh. He was going to be giving a lecture at a church down in Escondido. So they asked me to come and to open for him, bring my guitar and open for him. And so I got up and I sang. And then Neil Donald Walsh, who is the author of Conversations with God, for those who are listening, if you haven't read that, that is a great book. My mother had given me the first book because I told her I was actually talking to God, that I would go in, do what I just said, ask to speak to God. I asked to speak to God, and then I would talk. And I would get the most profound answers. How is this even possible? My mom goes, I thought, don't tell anybody, because I told my husband, he's like, don't tell anybody. Like, they'll lock you up kind of thing. Don't tell anybody. If you're talking to God, that's just weird, And so when I finally broke down like 2 years later and told my mom, she gave me Neil Donald Walsh's Conversations with God. And I was like, oh my gosh, here it is. Somebody can do this. I'm not alone in what I'm doing. The opportunity came to come and sing for him and to sing as the opening act. And he came out and he said, I want to offer you, while I'm talking, if you have a song that'll move the conversation forward, I'd like you to just interrupt me, step up on stage and sing. You don't interrupt adults. And he's definitely my senior now. There's all these programming that goes on inside of us that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But I allowed myself to get into that space. And he began talking about something. And the words to that song were actually in my guitar case. And I reached over, got it out of the guitar case. And as he was talking, I just began playing my guitar lightly over him. And he was able to finish his dialogue. Then I stepped up on stage and sang this song, and boy, it really worked. There was this really great energy. He said, "I'd like to invite you. I'm doing a retreat next week. Would you come up to Ashland, Oregon, and perform at a retreat, do the same thing on stage with me?" And so I went up and did 7 days there. And I did another couple of events with him, but it was really fun. And I got The Little Soul in the Sun that's autographed by him years ago. I've also read The Little Soul in the Sun to my kids. And that part where the cute little soul says what you're talking about, the other one little soul, and they look like little tiny children. So like little 4-year-olds, one little 4-year-old, it's like, well, how do I experience this? And he says, when we get down there, I'm going to do something really mean. I'm going to do something, but you have to remember that you have to forgive me for it. Just forgive me. That's really profound, that it's a play that we're making up and it's coming in.
Amazing. Remember who I really am.